This video is about having difficult, challenging conversations in the workplace. We're wired to avoid discomfort, all of us. It's human nature. And conflict is, well, it's uncomfortable. But discomfort is a necessary part of growth. So, if we're to avoid conflict altogether, nothing would ever grow or change. Consider, for example, a situation where one of our colleagues makes a biased comment. If we choose not to speak up and interrupt their harmful behavior, nothing will change going forward. Our colleague is going to feel comfortable making those same comments again and again. They are not going to grow or change or learn from their mistakes. The other thing that happens is that we become complicit. So, when we don't speak up, we become part of the problem. We are signaling in that moment that the situation is not important to us, that it does not warrant the discomfort that comes with speaking up, the discomfort that comes with conflict or confrontation. But again, there's no growth without discomfort. So, here are 8 tips or suggestions for having uncomfortable conversations in the workplace. Tip 1. Prepare if you're feeling anxious or uneasy. You can prepare by rehearsing either in your head or with a trusted colleague or friend. Practicing is going to make you feel a little more comfortable. It will probably make your message clearer and more concise too. Another thing you can do is consider various scenarios and visualize yourself handling them confidently, with ease. Tip 2. Set clear intentions. It's important that both parties know why you're having this conversation. So, why is this conversation important? And what is it exactly that you want to accomplish? Tip 3. Acknowledge the discomfort. Be upfront about how the conversation feels, how uncomfortable or awkward it is, and be upfront about your emotions and your energy. And encourage the other person or people to be upfront about theirs. So, if you're feeling frustrated, for example, let them know. And remember that the way a conversation feels often has to do with the power dynamics. Consider, for example, a conversation between a supervisor and someone they supervise. And consider a conversation between a man and a woman, or between someone who is cisgender and someone who is non-binary or transgender. Who holds more power? Tip 3. Start from a place of empathy and curiosity. Really try to understand where the other person or people are coming from. So put yourself in their shoes before coming to any conclusions. And try to practice active listening. Active listening is about listening to someone to really fully understand what they're saying. Rather than listening to respond, it's about showing that you're engaged, for example, by nodding along, asking follow-up questions, summarizing what the other person has said, making sure you're on the same page, so to speak. Tip 4, use I statements. Our tone, so the way our words are expressed, is crucial. And using I statements is going to help us avoid sounding accusatory. Statements like, when you said blank, I took it to mean blank, or I'm feeling really blank. Tip 5, take breaks. There's nothing wrong with pausing or taking some time to regroup if you're feeling angry or overwhelmed. Intense emotions sometimes cloud our message, and taking a break or two can help prevent this. Tip 6, remain open to feedback. It's important that we are ready to listen, not just talk. This goes back to what we said about active listening. And if you do receive feedback, resist the urge to retreat or disengage. Stay engaged and keep on listening. Tip 7, check in. Follow up with this person or people after the fact to see where they are at. So, has any progress been made? Has there been any change or growth? Tip 8, practice, practice, practice. The art of conversation is just like any other. Continued practice is going to help you get better. Practice makes perfect, so try to push through the discomfort and lean into the difficult conversations whenever you can. However, if you enter into a conversation that feels unsafe, please prioritize your well-being. It's important that we protect ourselves from harmful situations. So, situations where we are experiencing bullying, intimidation, ridicule, or any other form of discrimination. Remember that a constructive conversation hinges on openness and respect. And if the other person or people cannot deliver that, well, disengaging might end up being the safest option. Now, let's talk about the 3 Jedi Hub lenses: racialized newcomers, indigeneity, and disability. When it comes to racialized newcomers, it's important to note that different cultures and different parts of the world view power differently. They approach it differently. So while some cultures might encourage conversation or collaboration between, say, a manager and the people they manage, other cultures would discourage this kind of thing. Consider, for example, bringing a new idea to your manager or someone with more power than you. In some cultures, including North American culture, this would be applauded. It would be taken to mean that you're confident and creative and that you're not afraid to take initiatives. All things we tend to place a lot of importance on. But in other cultures, this would be inappropriate. It would be taken to mean that you don't think the manager has good ideas of their own or that they aren't good at their job. So a person's cultural upbringing or background will often have influence. So a person's cultural upbringing or background will often influence the way they approach difficult conversations with their superiors. It can be good to talk about this beforehand, before really getting into the conversation, that is. Because if an employee has been taught that disagreeing with their boss or standing up to their supervisor is disrespectful, any conversations they might have are going to end up being very one-sided. So they won't be very productive. Thanks for tuning into this lesson. For more information and to learn more about how to navigate difficult or uncomfortable conversations, see the PDF attached below.